Hello, everybody. I'm Roberta Pacino, and this is Kiss of Fame podcast, where we dive deep into the glamour and the grit on the road to success and fame. I have a little story I just want to tell. It was something cute that happened this week. I was watching my grandson, who will be 5 next month, and I said, Nana has a store in the metaverse. You want to see it? He goes, oh, yeah, I want to see it. So I pulled it up, my Hello Plaza store on my phone, and I showed it to him, and he got so excited. I let him take my phone, and he could control the avatar as good as I can. And he was running through the mall, going through all the shops, and you're saying, oh, I want to buy something. I want to buy something. And yeah, I thought, I mean, the big takeaway for me for that was like, wow, this is this is the future of shopping. I mean, this is what people want to see, what kids and the people growing up want to see now. So it's the future, and the future is now. So yeah, if you have a store, check out the Hello Plaza metaverse. Come to the metaverse and open up shop, especially if you have a toy store. I think you'll have a lot of customers. So anyway, I have an amazing guest here today. I'm very, very excited to introduce him. But first, let's watch the intro video.
In a world where passion meets recognition and dreams grapple with the reality of fame, one journey illuminates the myriad paths to greatness. Welcome to Kiss of Fame, a podcast where the stories of ambition, perseverance, and personal triumph are told by those who dare to reach for the stars. Greetings, dreamers, doers, and innovators. I'm Roberta Pacino, here to navigate the vast seas of creativity, recognition, and the complex dance with fame. Whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, scientist, or advocate, Kiss of Fame is your haven for genuine stories of grit, inspiration, and sometimes the hard truths of seeking the spotlight. Through intimate conversations with those who've carved their niches, from hidden gems to luminaries in their fields, we uncover the essence of what it takes to rise above the noise. We delve into the magic that drives their passion, the relentless pursuit of success, and the courage required to stay true to one's vision in the face of fame. But this isn't just about the glitz and glamour, it's about the journey. The triumphs, the setbacks, and the moments that define us. From the first spark of ambition to the accolades that follow, every step has its story, and we're here to share those stories with the world. Kiss of Fame isn't merely a podcast, it's a dialogue. A dialogue about the art of achievement, the impact of recognition, and our endless quest for significance in our work and in our lives. So, if you're in search of motivation, guidance, or companionship on your path to recognition, join us. Explore the lives and minds of those who've made their mark and uncover what it truly takes to earn that kiss of fame. It's not just about making art, it's about sparking conversations. Welcome to Kiss of Fame. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and let's embark on this remarkable journey together.
That's a lot. Okay, so can you share about your background and about your dad's career and how in audio engineering and music?
Right. That's probably, yeah, sure. That's probably what influenced me, as far as my dad influenced me a lot because he had a recording studio. And I used to go there as a kid when we lived in Newark, New Jersey, where probably a lot of people were from at one point. And I always used to see the groups who were like, I didn't know, I was kind of young, but they eventually were either famous at that time or had hit records. But I didn't know. I'm a young kid. I mean, I didn't know Tommy James and the Shondells, all these groups.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, Jay and the Americans, a lot of older groups, and then uh, uh, several others. I can't think of all the different. I think they did Green Tambourine. There was a group called the Lemon Pipers.
Uh-huh. And
Um,
this was at your
uh,
dad's studio?
yeah, he was a recording engineer there. They did, I think, something with the uh, Jethro Tull recorded there.
Very
Four
cool.
Seasons, I think, did Beg in there, one of their tunes, and the rest were all recorded in New York, of course. But there was a lot of people. I was a kid. I didn't know. I'm getting all these autographs and booklets and albums to take home and stuff like that. And so I was kind of around that whole environment. And then also my dad was a musician, bass player, good bass
Mm-hmm.
player, and a singer. So he
Mm-hmm.
would always go out, take his, I never see him. I'd ask my mom, I said, where's dad? He's working. And that's, the life of a musician. So he was always in the studio or he was doing a gig with the music and
Mm-hmm.
singing. So
Did you
that's where
save
that kind of,
any of,
go
I
ahead, I'm
was
sorry.
just going to say, did you save any of those albums and all those things that you got when you were a
Well, I
kid?
got so many albums from Frankie Valli, uh, Castelluccio, his real name is. And because we were kids, I got so many of the promotional copy things and I stored them away in my mother's house and they cleaned the closet out. A big, what do you call those with the wood in it? Forget what kind of closet it was. And I stored them, a lot of the albums, not all of them, but a lot of them. And when they did a clean out, that closet, big closet in my mom's house in West Orange, they threw the albums out.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah,
Oh,
I lost.
well.
So I lost. Yeah, no, I kind of broke my heart because they were like special things
I,
all given to me by Frankie's
oh,
wife
for
at the
sure.
time. Yeah,
So,
and
did listening, I mean, how did that shape your career being around your father
well,
at
it
audio engineering? Huh?
well, I just enjoyed
Go ahead.
going there, watching him do this, sit behind this big console and
Mm-hmm.
and recording the different people and the whole technique on how do you record, especially back then it was tape.
Uh-huh.
It's not like today where it's all digital, but and all computers and software. It was the old fashioned way. But I just loved it. I was around it. So before you know it, I was playing the guitar myself. I bought my first guitar, I think, or my dad or mom bought it for me when I was 13. So that's when I, you know, so the music thing is what I kind of like had a passion for in the beginning, very young age. The acting
Right.
thing came along later, 16. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, if I could mention the movie, your brother was in it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Much,
I wanted to ask you about that. So you were an extra in a movie, and that
yeah,
really had a major impact on you. So yeah, tell us the movie.
yeah. Let me tell you how that came about. Of course, that was kind of funny because I didn't know anything about acting or anything like that at that age, 16 years old, and I had long hair. That was
Uh-huh.
the style back then. And my mother's
Right.
friend, who was a doctor, she knew a lot of people, and she says, "Eddie, if you get a haircut, I'll get you in the movie The Godfather." She must have knew the assistant director. I don't think it was Coppola. I think it was
Oh,
somebody under him. And I said, "Okay, I'll get a haircut." And I went to my cousin's house in Nutley, New Jersey. I'll never forget it. And that was it. I got a haircut. Next thing you know, I'm on a bus to Staten Island. I believe it was Staten Island, New York, and
mm-hmm.
and that's where he was shooting in the
Oh,
house there, the wedding scene. I
the
was in the
wedding
wedding
scene was
scene.
shot there. Okay.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
in Staten Island, and yeah, I was just an extra. I mean, just
All
starting
right.
out, getting my feet. I was just dipping my feet
But you got the
and
bug,
watching
huh?
the big stuff. No, and I got the bug, and I guess I was, just looking at the big guys like your brother, Marlon Brando, Talia Shire. I think Al Martino was there, and the other guy. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
He passed away, James Caan. And
Oh,
yeah,
James
and,
Gunn.
and I took some pictures with Richard Conte. He was phenomenal. And I don't want to tell you what happened to those pictures. Another thing, another big story that one day we'll save for another episode. The whole
Okay,
scrapbook I
that
had.
big a
No,
story, huh?
yeah, yeah. And then, well, the whole scrapbook from The Godfather, I let somebody borrow it. And I wished that, not to backtrack, but when they paid me with the check, I think it was $150 for 2 days, $75 a day.
Right.
It was a big yellow check, said Paramount Pictures and The Godfather. I want to kick myself for cashing that check and not framing it. And so, and the pictures, somebody, I lent them to, I was younger at the time. I was a little naive. I lent this to some guy that owned a pizzeria, and he said, "Oh, Eddie, can I borrow that album?" It had all the pictures my father was taking behind the scenes of The Godfather, and with the
Mm-hmm.
big, and I had an 8x10 of me and Richard Conte.
Mm-hmm.
The guy never gave him back. It so angry about that. I'm so angry about that. But
Well, yeah.
okay, so that's one of the regrets I have. But as far as the positive side of that, it probably is where I kind of like sort of caught the buck and said, "This is fun. I want to do this. This is fun."
Right.
And
Yeah. It's,
no, it's just
yeah.
I mean, how
So
many people?
exciting.
Well, how many people can get to do what they love? Or
Right.
what's I mean, it's hard work too. I learned later on that it's not a walk in the park. You still got to know what you're doing. And
Right.
I learned all that later on. And
Mm-hmm.
but that's probably, like a lot of people say, well, you're only an extra or stuff like. Well, maybe people don't say that, but maybe I think they say that. You just did background work. Well,
Right.
that's what everybody started out doing. Let me tell you, Roberta.
Right.
That's what you start out
Yeah.
doing. I wasn't even union then. I knew nothing about acting. My father's
Mm-hmm.
behind the ropes yelling, "Look at the camera, for crying! Don't look at the camera, but look towards the camera." And I said,
So did you
I,
go
I
on and
didn't care.
study in
And
school?
then
Did you
later on,
study?
right, later on, I think that was 72, right? The Godfather, yeah, 1972. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Later on, I think I was still in junior high, and then I went to high school, and there was a drama class, and that's when I kind of delved into it a little more. And there was a drama teacher, Mr. Del Monte, I never forget his name, and we
Mm-hmm.
made a movie. I think I told you
Oh,
it was what was that one with the dead? Oh, I
I don't
forget.
know.
I was a zombie. Anyway, I played a zombie. So that was my big.
What a start.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead. Night of the
No, I
Living Dead.
didn't. Oh.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead. And then after that, I went to college. I said, well, how can I learn more about music? Learn the theory, and maybe get to know something about acting. Without having to pay to go to a school. Maybe get some grants and things like that. So I applied to William Patterson, and I got accepted there. I went for 1 year. I majored in music, um, and then I went out to Vegas. I wanted to get out of Jersey, and that's when I went into, I got into the film production thing. I studied film production, and I still kept my music major. That was my major, like music. And then I started doing little things out there with the acting too. I joined this place called Nevada Motion Pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
they, even though I wasn't union, so I would do extra work on that show called Vegas with Robert Urich. I don't know if you remember that show.
Right.
And it was a
Yeah.
series that was very popular.
Mm-hmm.
They shot in Vegas. So after that, when I came back home, my game plan was to go to California. I think I was telling you that on the phone.
Yeah.
And it I wind up coming home back to New Jersey, and then I stayed. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, the next best thing is I got New York right across the water, and that. So I went to acting classes there in the 90s. I think
Mm-hmm.
I took commercial acting for commercials, acting for film
Right.
and television and soaps, because you had to learn
Mm-hmm.
all the different aspects. There's different techniques for each
Right.
kind of acting. And
So
I did that, studied. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just reflecting on what you're talking about. And like, we kind of have like, we never met years ago, but we were kind of around doing the same thing. I mean, I was um,
Right.
in New York um, when I got there because I was raised in California. I got to New York right before The Godfather opened. So I wasn't in it, I wasn't in it, but
Yeah.
it was such an exciting, amazing time. That was really, I can see how you just wanted to act after that. Um, oh yeah, you've mentioned
Yes,
that
you're breaking. Yeah, you're breaking up.
now I am.
No, now
Okay.
I didn't hear. I only heard what you said because it kept. Go ahead. I'm sorry, but
Oh, okay. Well, let me
wanted
ask
to
you
tell you.
another question. My question is,
No, you're.
you've talked about you seeing your dad's famous friend, and
Oh, Pesci.
then and you saw him. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I didn't, and a certain film that he was in, and then you said it was pivotal in your career. So,
Right.
tell us about that. What was it about the performance that made you want to pursue acting seriously?
Well, I was out in Vegas, as you know. I was out in Vegas, and um, my father calls me on the phone. He says, "Eddie, you might want to go see uh, my friend in a movie." He meant Joe Pesci, and I said, "Yeah, sure." Because he's got a big part in it, and he did something a little smaller, like an independent film. So even those guys do independents, so called The Debt Collector, and I guess that's where they spotted him for Agent Bull. And I went to see that movie, and I said, and then I really said, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do. And I was so, moved by the performance and just knowing that, this is my dad's friend, and Frank Vincent, the late Frank Vincent was a good friend of my dad too. And that really, put the jolt into me. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I came home, that's when I studied. And then I started, I joined AFTRA first because they were separate unions at the time. And then
Mm-hmm.
I got to speak in what they call a 5 or under. AFTRA was, no, it's like a day player, but you talk, you know, no more extra stuff. I was talking.
Right.
So
Right.
I got a speaking part in a show called It's a Miracle with Roma Downey, who hosted it. And I went up to you got to be a little forward in this business. I went up because they weren't going to give it to you. And I went up to the assistant
Right.
director. I said, I'd like a copy of that I spoke contract, and the paperwork. And that's when the rest is history. I joined SAG. And of course I was able to audition for like bigger stuff and better stuff and all union stuff.
Yeah.
And, and,
Wonderful.
uh, and that's
Yeah.
what, yeah, I mean, it's very competitive. I was
Right.
more hungry for the fame thing and the fame and fortune thing, if you will. I hate to use that term, but I was I was like any other young actor. I was more
Mm,
back then. I felt
really.
differently. Like you asked me about my perspective
Really.
on
Right.
you know on it
Well, let me
today.
ask you about something here. So, you've had like it, that's very interesting, and having been lived in Hollywood for a long time and knowing a lot of actors and everything. I had one woman tell me she went, she got all fixed up. She went for an audition, and walked in there, and she said there were like 20 other women that looked exactly like her sitting there waiting to audition. I mean, it is really competitive. Maybe less so in New
No,
York. I
very
don't know.
competitive.
Very competitive. So how has the landscape, say, of acting and music changed since then? Um, you know, and you're still
Well,
involved. Is
I
that
could tell.
correct? I
Well,
mean,
that's
how
an
have you
easy question.
adapted to the changes?
Well, I think that had. Let me tell you, if you're talking about technology, uh, is the key word here. Technology, which could be a curse in one, if you use it the wrong way, and a blessing
Right.
in another way. And technology, had they had this when I was doing it, when I was younger, when I first got into it. It would have been incredible. It's so much you could. It allows, uh, like the landscape of acting, like you say, and the music. Uh, how have I adapted? Well, the fact that when I came back, 'cause I had some health issues and things that I had to deal with, and I took a little
Right.
hiatus from like 2013 to
Right.
2018. When I came back in 2018, I realized, hey, everybody's on networking on social media. You don't have to send in headshots no more. Do everything
Mm-hmm.
online. And
Right.
it's like, I love that. I love
Right.
that self-tape. Who
Oh,
heard of self-taping? Nobody had an iPhone in 1980. You
that's
know,
right.
uh, I think it's fantastic. I think the technology, as far as I think it's still competitive. Don't get me wrong. You got 1,000 people trying for the same part. If you're looking to get, talk in a movie, and I think after paying your dues and being an extra, that's what you want to do. You don't study acting to stay silent and be a wallflower. So,
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm knocking
Yeah.
background actors. I'm just saying you eventually want to climb that ladder like anyone else.
Right.
So
So there's
that's
a
what I
lot that
did. I
changed
mean,
with
now
technology, but yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
there that that
I was
that
just,
that helps, right?
yeah, a lot changed with technology, but a lot stayed the same. I think you're kind of saying that. Like it's still, you
Well,
still
it's
have
so
to audition. You still have
it,
to, yeah.
right. You still got to do
Go ahead.
that. You still got to be able to cut it. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
it's so much easier. There's so much, and even at my age, you still got a shot. You can never give up and say never. I know you're going to probably ask me this question later, but uh,
Well,
now
I
that I
am
think
going to
about it,
ask
it's
you
just like
later.
I
So,
have a little.
uh, that's my favorite question.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Okay, so let's take a
I
little
think the
break
main
because I
thing,
want to go ahead. Uh, Okay, I want to.
yeah, your break, yes,
We're going to take a break because I'm going to show a video of my products, and then we'll get back to the story, and we'll pick up with that with all that. So yeah,
okay,
so
fine,
I
you got it.
created I created a new product. It's a metal print, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I have a limited edition. There's only 50 of each, and I just used two of my paintings, and the print's infused in a specially coated aluminum, and I have them for sale until they're gone, and then they're numbered, and there won't be any more made. So, and they are like, I got a sample, and I'm like, oh, this is like just so beautiful. I mean, they just look really good. So that's this video is going to explain that. Um, so let's get started.
Hi, I'm Roberta Pacino, and I'm excited to introduce my new limited edition metal prints, Garden Gathering and Sicilian Comfort. Each 16 by 20 inch print captures the magic of my work, with only 50 prints available for each design. They're signed, numbered, and printed on specially coated aluminum sheets for a durable, vibrant finish. Garden Gathering depicts a peaceful woodland scene with a rabbit, squirrel, and prairie dog beneath cherry blossoms. Sicilian Comfort evokes the warmth of a family spaghetti dinner, inspired by my father's restaurant. These metal prints float half an inch from the wall with a built-in frame, perfect for any space. Order now through my secure online store for the introductory price of $247. Enjoy free domestic shipping and a certificate of authenticity with each purchase. Immerse yourself in my magical worlds. It's not just art, it's a conversation. Visit my store at robertapacino.io and bring home a piece of my enchanting world.
All right, welcome back. So head over to robertapacino.io and get a metal print before they're gone. Thanks. So Eddie,
Yes.
yeah, you had mentioned that you took a hiatus because of health issues at one point. So what was it like? How
Yeah.
did you navigate yourself back into the business? How
Well,
did you
well,
navigate that?
well, my wife got better, thank God. She had breast cancer. and she had to get a double mastectomy. So I had to help her throughout that whole thing. And, I was like her nurse, so to speak, if you will. And then I had my own health thing. I was diagnosed with something called sarcoidosis. You can look it up. It's the inflammation kind of thing. And you
Mm-hmm.
could live a normal life with it, but some people don't. Depending upon what organ it afflicts in your body and how bad severe it is. But they thought it was cancer. And then when I had the PET scan, they told me, no, you got sarcoidosis. So my cousin, that's a doctor in South Jersey, she's like a top Castle Connolly, they called him, New Jersey doctor of infectious disease. She told me, Eddie, if you had to pick the lesser of three evils that they told you might have, one was lymphoma, which is cancer, a small cell lung cancer, and the other one sarcoidosis. She goes, you got the better of the three, and
So
because it's not. So
that's
that
good.
that
That's good news.
I had to address. Well, because the two other things always require cancer treatment.
Right.
The sarcoidosis, maybe you go on steroids, because it usually affects the lungs. So
Right.
I have to have what they call pulmonary function test every every year, every six
Right.
months. I haven't had one in
So,
3 years. No, and I've been
so
okay. Knock wood, knock wood.
yeah,
And
that's wonderful. And your wife's okay. So once
my
you
wife's
guys were
okay.
like, okay, did you
Right.
start acting again?
Right. Then when 2018 rolled around, my father's friend, Al Natoli, uh, who ironically was his stand-in for Joe Pesci for like 25 years.
Oh, well,
I think I said to you, he was his double. You could see him in Casino, all those movies. You see him. He plays the part with the puppy dog eyes.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good. I spot doubles sometimes.
yeah.
I
But you
look for
could you
them
could see
for some
him. Well,
reason.
he's not a double. No, he's not a double. He didn't
Yeah,
look like Joe.
yeah.
He was the stand-in,
Oh,
which you don't have to look like the person. You just got to have their stature, a little bit
right.
to
From the
the
back, you
side. You
might
don't.
look like
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
right from the
yeah.
back. Right. Same height, all
Uh-huh.
that stuff. A double is different.
Hmm.
You got to kind of look like the person, or you might be a body double. You got to, where you don't have to look like the person. You just got to have a nice body or whatever. So it's like,
Right.
um, yeah. So he did a movie called a little independent film about musicians because he's a musician as well, and a good one at that, a sax player, and he's been doing that for years with his wife, and they actually still perform once in a while. And he did a movie called Does the Band Eat? And he put me in a part. So that's when I first came back. That's probably the first thing I did. Then in 2000, that was 2019. Then in 2020, I
Okay.
went out to Florida and did another thing that's on my IMDb called Silent Partners series pilot. And now they did the movie, so I understand. So I did that. And now I got a couple of other things in the works too as well. But you know how
Right.
that goes.
Well,
They're always
right. What about,
pending. And
sorry for interrupting you.
oh, that's fine.
What about the script you wrote? You said you wrote a short
Oh,
script
oh
and that you
yeah.
might
Let's
turn
not
it
forget
into a
Sue.
feature film. And I mean, I know that's a
Right,
big deal. So tell me about that.
right, right. I wrote along with a co-writer of mine, but I always had the idea. I've started it probably going on 3 years now, 3, 4 years since I had the concept, and it all stemmed from my sister-in-law's boyfriend's boat at the Jersey Shore called Screw Loose. So I was wearing those shirts and on that boat, and I just said, I love the title. I mean, I love that name, and
Yes,
I
great
thought
name.
about, yeah, great name for like a comedy of mobsters, kind of thing,
Hmm.
and and we wrote a 40-minute short, and um, a lot of people liked it, and that read it, and probably 7 drafts of it we did, and changed so many things, and I keep on it. Being the kind of guy I am, I like humor, I like comedy. I want to insert more comedy into it. So it I was going to do the short, and everybody, it's hard to raise money on a short film because you're really going to only show it in festivals.
Right,
And so everybody's telling me, you know what, you should extend this into the feature. And they
right.
didn't have to tell me that. I kind of knew. I said, the only way I'm going to get money is if I make a feature out of this, maybe get a name, even though I wanted to star in it myself. I mean, it's the only time you get to star in your own picture when you're a popular unknown like me, is by doing your own script.
Right.
So, so that's still on the shelf, and it's something
Right.
on my bucket list, and I know I'm going to get to do it. Good
Right. I
God
know.
willing, of course.
I've worked on that before, and I've decided that if you want to see a miracle, go watch an independent film
Right.
because there's
No,
a
I think
lot to yeah.
no, a lot of
There's a
people are
lot
doing
to
it.
it.
No, let me tell you something. A lot of people are going that route. Getting back to what we said about technology,
Right.
it allows a little guy, it allows the small guy, creative guy, whatever you want to refer to me as, or
Right.
us in the
Uh-huh.
independent industry, it allows
Right.
us to be able to make a movie, not with blowing up cars, so to speak. It's not a Marvel movie or a blockbuster thing where you need Hollywood. You could
Right.
make your own movie that's really pivots, the whole movie pivots on what the story's about,
And get
and
distribution or
yeah,
do
yeah,
your
I
own
think you can.
distribution. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you could,
Yes.
you pitch it. You pitch it with the streaming and all that. You got a shot
Mm-hmm.
at the little guy's got a shot is basically what I'm trying to
Right. It
say.
has
I
changed in
believe it.
that aspect. Yeah.
Right, right. It's
I
like
mean,
you don't have to
yeah.
go to
Well, that's
Hollywood no
wonderful.
more.
Yeah. That's really
Don't
wonderful
tell
that
that.
they
Don't tell Al I said that.
he probably knows it all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, that's a whole different thing when you're looking at those,
The
multi-million dollar
A-listers.
films
Right,
or
right, right,
multi-thousand
right,
dollar films. Yeah,
right,
but they're still good. I mean, there's so much demand for content
right.
that, and there's so many places now to show it. Yeah,
Stream your
so,
stuff. Right, right.
to stream your
So,
stuff. So it has
right.
changed since I was doing it.
Let's put it
So I
this way,
can
Roberta.
relate.
The guy that's not an A-lister, us B-lister guys or C-listers, whatever you want to call us, we got a
Right.
shot at doing it because of
Hmm.
technology and because the whole system has changed. The whole thing has changed. You could look at these TikTok videos. Somebody goes viral and they're famous. I mean,
Right.
technology allows the guy that's a little lower on the ladder to to climb it.
Yeah,
And
to get heard.
I'm not,
Yeah, and
yes,
so yeah, and that's the thing. I've got to say that excites me about the metaverse so much. I mean, everybody who knows me knows I love the metaverse, but I mean, I think movies. We're just starting to see how it's happening. There's people making films in the metaverse now.
right. And
So
not only just you doing this
and
show,
showing them. Go ahead.
right? Just you doing this show and having a little small guys like me on, like, I call myself small potatoes. A lot of people say, why do you always put yourself down? You did a little bit more than others
Than a lot of
that have
people.
done nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that have done nothing. Even Joe Pesci said that to me. He says, Eddie, come on, you don't have to, just because you're not a star doesn't mean you're not creative and you don't have talent. So,
Right.
so I always stuck by that. I mean, I have a different outlook now, of course. Uh, you know, uh, I'm a little more selective with stuff. Not that I'm being cocky or anything like that. It's just I'm older. Parts are not as like they used to be. So I'm not going to. I accept reality. I'm realistic, I should say, in the fact that I'm not looking to be no lead, no Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, uh, uh, it is what it is. I enjoy doing it. The passion
Right.
is there. Just being around
Right.
the industry, making a movie, watching my son edit the last film I did. Uh, and it don't have to be my son. I'm just saying, just the whole process is is enjoyable. What are you going to do?
It's
I mean,
thrilling.
it beats sitting home like a vegetable. So it's like, I refuse to vegetate, and I'm going to keep doing this till the good Lord tells me your time is up. So
Yeah.
that's my
Well,
attitude about it.
so okay. So then tell us about the projects you're slated for.
Okay, the project's slated for something called, and this girl called me and asked me, um, can I attach you to this project? I said, okay, what is it? And I don't believe, and I said, fine. I looked at it. It's called Mobsters in Music. Another friend of mine's doing something called Vito's Way. That's still in
Mm-hmm.
development. This Mobsters in Music might be in pre-production now. I don't know. I got to go to IMDb and look, but I wasn't notified until I signed the paperwork, what they call letter of intent. I'm sure you're familiar with that,
Mm-hmm.
or an NDA. Until I start finding it's signing contracts, then and I'm on set. It's not that I'm saying that these things ain't going to happen, but just because somebody tells you and puts you up, as part of the cast on IMDb doesn't mean the movie's going to get made. Like anything else,
That's right. Right.
they got to
Right. They
fund it.
have to get some,
So
even if it's,
yeah, I got some things
even if it's
going
low
on.
budget.
I got some things going
Yeah,
on,
that's terrific.
and
Yeah. Okay,
the
Eddie.
screw loose thing,
So,
and the screw loose
oh,
thing.
yeah. Didn't we talk about Screw Loose? Talk about Screw
No,
Loose.
I was going to say, and of course the screw loose thing. I want to take that shelf and going to be. I want to hopefully that'll come to fruition. And
That one's a little further
I'll get to
along,
do
or
that.
you're more vested in that one anyway, since you wrote it, right? I mean, that's like your baby. Screw Loose.
Right, because then I could do whatever I want, right?
Right. Yeah,
and I could do
absolutely.
whatever I want, say the lines I want.
Will you
And more
direct?
control, right? Roberta, you know about
Mm-hmm.
control. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I have more creative control.
Right. Yeah, I know about control.
So I got some things in the fire. Yeah, I got some things in
Yeah,
the fire.
wonderful.
And
That
another
is
thing.
wonderful.
So
So
let's
what
see what
advice
happens.
would you give? Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what happens. So what advice would you give aspiring actors, and especially the ones that are like maybe starting later in life, or they are in later life? What kind of advice would you give?
Well, the advice I give to actors in general is, and they would give me the same. I was given the same advice, was to just you got to keep plugging at it. You got to hit the pavement. Take advantage of technology. I would tell them all that. Don't be afraid to go into an independent film, a union
Hmm.
independent film. Do what they
Right.
call a ultra low budget or low
Well, I
budget,
like that.
whatever your budget
Hmm.
is. Yeah, you could do
Yeah.
micro budget. A $10,000, $15,000 film, and it could turn into this big thing, and it could get
Right.
you noticed. So don't be afraid of the independent route. As far as the older actor is concerned, guys my age, don't quit. Don't quit. Don't look. If you don't become, quote, I hate the expression, a star or an A-lister, that doesn't mean anything. Just do it because you love it, and that's what I do.
Absolutely. Well, that is so
And I
wonderful.
like
I
to
love
try.
that.
I like to bring out emotions in people. I like to make people laugh. I like to make them, well, not cry, especially. But if that's what it calls for, that's what it calls for. But I
Right.
like to make people happy most of all, and
Well,
I like performing. That's
I
about
do
it.
want to show the clip that you sent. Can you tell us about it, and then we'll show it to the audience?
Yeah, you keep break, like after you talk. I don't know. I keep hearing go, "Put, put," and it cuts you off. So
You're very audio. You're
you
very
need to
audio
say that
conscious.
again.
I really. Okay.
No,
So, all right.
if
What I said. Can you hear
what
me
did you
now?
just ask me?
Oh, okay. You didn't even hear that. Okay. So, can you talk about the clip, because we're getting ready to show it? The clip you sent me.
Yeah, that's from a TV pilot we did in 2021 in upstate New York. My son shot that, and that was directed by Vincent Curatola from The Sopranos. Uh, and that was like a first short that my son shot back then. And I thought he did a
Hmm.
pretty good job when you look at the quality of the video. It's not bad.
Oh, oh
And
yeah. I love it.
yeah, it that would
Uh, uh,
yeah, that's like a, a if you want to call it like a TV pilot kind of thing, and about a bunch of these guys that hung on in the Bronx at a restaurant called Joe and Joe's that's been around for years. I think I was telling you about that. So,
Right.
and the goings on in that restaurant, the things that would happen. and the conversations that took place with these local guys, who's getting beat up, that was like small time mob kind of stuff, from
Right.
what I understand.
Well, let's
So
watch
that
it and
basically is
then,
it. And I was
yeah.
okay.
You ready? You ready for us to play it?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Let's play the video.
Silent Sal, acting boss of the biggest New York crime family, and his driver Pete stop in for their usual morning espresso to start the day. This was a daily routine to relax before their day starts.
Did you have a problem with the car last week?
What problem? Car's running fine.
Car's running okay?
Yeah, it's running
I thought you
fine.
had an issue
How do
with
you
the
think you
car.
got here?
No, all right. I just asking you, that's all. Just want to know everything's okay.
Everything's good.
Yeah, all right. Follow me.
So how's your wife?
He's fine. He's fine. Everything is good. Everything is good. So far, everything's good. And you?
Good.
Yeah.
You know, same old shit.
All right. John, you want to help him out?
Yeah, I gotta do
Yeah, do what you got to do and see, make sure everything goes okay.
it. Everything's gonna go great.
All right, good.
Guys, how you doing?
What's up,
Good.
Bobby?
What do you got? Coffee there? You got enough?
Yeah, we're good. We're
Tommy?
good, Bobby. We're
You
good.
sure?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
We had a little incident last night.
Welcome back, everybody. So I just love that, Eddie.
You like
Um,
that?
I don't know. I just liked it. It's just really
Thanks.
good. You're great in it, and the directing's great. It's really good.
Thank you.
But
That's a
tell
compliment
that
coming from
little
you.
story that you told me about who the guy who comes in, the restaurant owner. You said you told me
Oh,
something about him.
yeah, the guy Joe that says to me, "Can I talk to you about something?" I don't know if you play at the end of the clip. I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing us standing there. But maybe I'm doing something wrong again, Roberta. I don't know. But
No, I don't think so. I think it was there.
yeah, I don't see it. But when he comes up to me, he's the actual owner of that I think it spans 3 generations. Joe and Joe started in the Bronx, then they moved to Pearl River, New York. That's where that was shot. But they started in the Bronx. That's been for 3 generations. That restaurant, that little bar restaurant, has been around. So he actually played. He owns the restaurant we shot it in. It's ironic. He's just playing himself, really. So, but we congregated in that place. The local, if you will, mob guys.
Mm-hmm.
It was a short pilot, so I can't really describe.
Right. I just
talk
think
about.
that's really cool. That was really his restaurant, and he had a part. So
Yeah,
okay.
if you watch the whole thing, it would be self-explanatory. It's basically a thing that happens in there, and 2 guys get into an argument after my bar scene, and then it ends with some original music and stuff. I mean, it was a good thing. I don't know if they plan on doing anything else with it. It was called The Corner, and it was
The Corner?
and if it yeah, The Corner, because it happened on the corner of some like Castle Hill Road, some famous street in the Bronx, where everybody hung out or something, and where the restaurant was. And that was that corner that they all congregated on and that was on that restaurant, I should say. And
So Eddie,
yes,
I want to ask the audience if they have any questions. You ready?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Questions? Ask a question.
See, trying to look to see if. Oh yeah, now I'm seeing it. Let me see.
Okay. Well, Maybe not. All right. Well, okay. Is there anything else, Eddie? Is there anything else that you want to say to all the people watching? Because there's lots of people out there watching us.
I hope that if some of my responses were not great, it's because I couldn't hear Roberta's the audio, something with the audio. And one of these days, I'm going to come out there personally and fix this audio problem. But I could hear a few words you said, then I would hear like a like that, just so you know. But so I did the best I could as far as what I heard that I was being asked.
Well,
Just so you know.
it sounded like you heard most of everything.
Well, I got the gist.
I feel like you were answering.
No, I got the gist.
I was asking.
No, I just got the gist.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, so I just have problem hearing your complete question. It would always cut out. So
Really?
just so you know, I gotta
well,
let
that's
you
good
know.
to know.
Maybe that's why nobody's asking questions. I'm wondering, but
well, I'm not really sure, but I don't think I don't know what's going on. So,
well, that's okay. I think I heard most of what you said. It was
okay.
when you got down to a few.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you, everybody. And I want to especially thank my hosts, Tara and David, from the Hello Plaza, the Hello LLC, a 3D digital agency. And they can be found at Tara, or David, what's your address, your website address?
We can be found at hellollc.io.
hellollc.io. Okay. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Eddie.
Okay, thanks for
Say
having
bye.
me. Okay,
bye. Thank you so much.
Okay, you have a great day, and thank you for having me, Roberta.
Stay for a minute.